Hi and welcome to this tutorial. Hope you're doing good. Today we're just going to focus on the telephone interview. What I want to teach you today is 3 key steps, which stands for BBQ. So be prepared, bullet points and questions. So these 3 things will help you become successful during the telephone interview. So step number 1, be prepared. Whenever you're going on a telephone interview, make sure you're in an area of reception. One of the things that annoys recruiters and employers more than anything is when they contact someone and you're in an area where you can barely make out what's being said. And again, you'll be surprised how many times this happens. Or a battery dies. So make sure you've prepared a location of where you're going to be, where you've got good reception, your phone's charged up, or alternatively, you've got an option for a landline. It's just the basics, guys. And again, people forget this and they just think they can take a call anywhere. And they forget their surroundings. You know, people do it when they're outside or when there's people in the same room. You need some silence, you need some preparation time to be able to have that communication with the other person on the end of the phone. So be prepared, mobile phone, signal, battery charged up. Use a landline where possible. The other important step with being prepared is make sure you know what the company does and make sure you've read the job description, because the second step, the bulk of the telephone interview, is the other person asking you questions about that particular role, your experiences and your skills. And that leads then into the next step, which is bullet points. Big mistake again people make is they write essays of experiences. So what happens is when you're reading off that piece of paper, the person on the other end of the phone, it sounds robotic. They know what you're doing. So therefore, bullet points is the key. So when you're asked questions about your experiences, you need to have stories ready, but just have bullet points so the conversation is more natural. And again, this will help you greatly in terms of communicating your message. As I say, this is the bulk and this is where you need to spend some time. So be prepared, bullet points. And also another little tip is to record. Again, a lot of people don't do this because they think, oh, it's too much of a headache. But if you record yourself on an iPhone or whatever you use, even if it's a laptop, and play it back and put yourself in the recruiter's shoes. Does it sound like a natural conversation? Are you communicating your message across in 20 to 30 seconds? Now, if this is a struggle for you, then again, you can click on a link below and we've already prepared answers for you. You can download a 140-page book, which gives you a ton of sample answers and teaches you the structure of how to answer interview questions. And then that leads us on to the next step, which is questions. So this is the third phase. You need to have some questions planned for the person on the other end of the phone. Now, one of those questions might be, when will you make a decision? Some organizations will make it straight away. Some will spend maybe a week to 10 days, maybe drafting through other people and speaking to other people before they make a decision. So that's one question. Maybe what it's like to work for the organization, the culture and understanding, the good and the bad points is another great question. And if it's a recruiter, one of the key things you want to do is build a relationship with them to find out exactly what that employer is looking for. What advice could you give? What would make a successful employee? What kind of skills and qualities? There's a whole host of questions. Again, I'll put another link below which will teach you what questions to actually ask, not only at the telephone interview, but at the actual interview as well. So just to summarize, 3 key steps. So BBQ, so barbecue. So make sure it sticks in your mind. Be prepared, mobile phone, reception, use a landline where possible, and obviously know about the organization, read the job description. Once you do that, that forms the basis of the second step, which is bullet points. So you're creating then stories to answer the interviewer's questions. But as I say, don't write it out, communicate through bullet points. Final step, questions. Have 3 questions prepared and ready for the other person on the end of the phone. So thanks again for watching this video. Again, use the links below. And we look forward to seeing you on the next one.